కొంచెం క్లారిటీ తగిలించాలి దానికి తగిలి కింద ఇరిగిపోయిందా పక్క అంత బ్లర్ అవుతుంది
let there be a gap between the two. Let us, sir, good morning. How are you, sir? Madam.
Good morning, sir.
Welcome, sir. Seshu, I think you should report to the conference. I think people are there. No. It is exactly
Requesting all
opposite
students to
principal's
please
office.
cover the front seats on your left.
Yes, please take the front
Start
seat.
sitting from the third row, please.
Third row.
Ah,
Please leave a space between you.
okay, I'm coming then. Then from here I will move.
Follow COVID protocols.
10:45 is the.
Please occupy the front seats. I request, please occupy the front seats.
Okay.
Follow COVID protocols and leave a space between you.
Start with the third row, please, all of you. Start with the third row, please.
Occupy the seats in the front.
Start with the third row.
சொல்லுங்க மிஸ்.
I repeat, please occupy the seats in the front.
Okay, now I'm coming back to the department only.
The students who are sitting in the end, please come in the front.
I hear. No, you come, you go there. I'm in the auditorium. I'm in the auditorium. You are calling me there. 10:45 there is asked me to attend the review. So I'm moving out of the auditorium. In between, if I leave, it won't look nice. So I'm coming back to the department only. You go to the office and then come. Oh.
One space in between gap.
Please follow COVID protocols and leave space between.
ఎవరి దగ్గర అరేంజ్ చేసుకోవాలరా ఛార్జర్, లేకపోతే నా దాంట్లో స్టార్ట్ చేయనా? నేను వాళ్ళకి నా మొబైల్ ఎవరి దగ్గర ఛార్జ్ చేయించిస్తా. ఉండే కదా పవర్ బ్యాంక్ ఏం చేసినా వాడు అప్పుడే స్టైల్గా పెడతా ఉంటుంది కదా,
స్టైల్
అలా పెడితే
లైవ్ పోతుంది సైడ్
అమ్మాయి అప్పుడు మొత్తం చెయ్యొద్దని రా, ఇలా పెట్టుకో. దీనికి చాలా స్కిల్స్ ఉన్నాయి. ఏ జయంత్ మళ్ళీ ఇంకా తనీషా ఫొటోస్ క్యాప్చర్ చేయరా? నేను నాకు అంత రాదు. తనీషా ఫొటోస్
ఎవరు వచ్చినారు
గ్రేట్ స్కిల్స్.
లైవ్
స్టార్టెడ్
మొబైల్ ఛార్జ్ ఉండాలి కదా, అరేంజ్ జస్ట్ we don't buy new ones, just 10 minutes. Manur is stuck in the city traffic. Namaskar.
నేను తనీషా
Very rare that
He'll become very happy. Come, I'll tell you.
Done.
We'll start another line.
No, not now. Everything is perfect now.
It's lagging a bit because of phone.
Little bit upward. No, 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 no,
Okay, fine.
no. It doesn't cover properly now. Screen doesn't cover properly. Okay.
You need to go back.
So you need to charge this mobile.
You 51 is
How will you charge?
I have power. I need cable. About cable, I just find someone got this dead ID like this.
What the heck?
You need a question. There is no like. It's nice, huh?
ಇಲ್ಲ, we have sent invitations, so actually he needs to accept it.
ఇది ఒరిజినల్ ఆ ఫోటోస్ చూస్తుంటే నీకు అప్డేట్ మండుతుంది.
చేతులు పట్టుకో. మళ్ళా పోతుందా జయంత్? నువ్వేమనుకుంటావు? మళ్ళీ పోద్ది జయంత్.
Please maintain COVID protocol
లే.
and leave some space between you. Do not sit next to each other. That group there,
తెచ్చారా వాళ్ళు?
maintain a gap between the two seats.
ఎప్పుడు రదిగా అప్పుడే మేము చూసాం.
బూతులు వస్తారు. ఇది కొద్దిగా లూజ్ చేస్తాను. కొంచెం పైకి ఎత్తు. ఇది ఎందుకురా? కొంచెం పైకి ఎత్తురా. ఎత్తురా. ఎట్లా లేదా?
నా దాంతో 2000 మంది చూస్తున్నారా? కాదు ఎవరి దగ్గర?
ఎందుకురా? పైకి వస్తుంది. మ్యాజిక్ చేస్తున్నావు.
ఐఫోన్ అలాంటి మొబైల్ పెట్టుకొని అలా అంతా చేస్తే బాగుంటుంది. వెనకాల ఉండేవాళ్ళు ಯಾವುದೋ ವಿವೋ ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ಅದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಏನು ತೆಗಿತಿ ಏನು ಬಿಲ್ಡಪ್ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ఈ సుద్ది పోయింది దాంట్లో కింద ఉండేది
ఏదైనా పెట్టరా దాని కింద ఏంటి? అది కొద్దిగా డౌన్ చేయి. కొంచెం ఎంత అంటే పాయింట్ చూడు. కొంచెం ఇంకా కొద్ది చేయి. ఇంకొంచెం. ఓకే ఓకే. ఒక సరిపోయింది.
టైట్ చేయాలి అంతా.
సరిపోయింది. బ్యాక్ వస్తుంది.
Tanisha.
He's asking me to go on Dayas and tell it. I understood him.
Yes, sir.
Hey, support me.
Let the other people.
Where sir on this forcing? Sit down, which is nice. Pick it up.
Soda. What is telling now? Tanisha. Tanisha.
Requesting all students to follow COVID protocols. Do not sit next to each other. Please leave a gap.
Zoom, and then you just slide click to zoom like this, and then click follow.
एक इनको चढ़ा दिया है नीचे रंगी पास में काम क्या इधर ही बात कीजिए
Check. Check.
should be sent to.
Yeah, it's shared now. It's already shared. Dhanlakshmi ma'am shared. We have sent share to.
Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Good morning to one and all present here this beautiful morning. This is Pooja Kumar from the Department of Management Studies, and I would like to extend a very warm welcome to all the dignitaries present here today, including our principal, senior executive director, directors, registrar, deans, heads of the department, faculty members, and the students to this wonderful occasion. When the invocation descends into the heart, if there is darkness within, it illuminates it. And if there is already light, the invocation increases the light and intensifies it. I would now like to call upon Dakshita and Pragati to bless us all with the invocation song. Chal.
महागणपतिं मनसा स्मरामि महागणपतिं मनसा स्मरामि महागणपतिम् वसिष्ठमामदेवादिवन्दितमहागणपतिं महादेवसुतं गुरुगुहनुतं वारकोटिप्रकाशं शान्तं महाकाव्यनाटकाधिप्रियं मूषिकवाहनमोदकप्रियं महाकाव्यनाटकाधिप्रियं मूषिकवाहनमोदकप्रियं महागणपतिम्.
Thank you. Thank you, Dakshita and Pragati. A lamp does not speak, it introduces itself through its light. Achievers never expose themselves, but the achievements expose them. I now request all the dignitaries to please begin with the lighting of the lamp. Thank you, dignitaries. You may please take your seats. As you all know, we have gathered here today for the National Level Faculty Development Program, Nurturing Entrepreneurship and Startup Management. Entrepreneurship is a blanket term related to starting a business and is defined as the pursuit of opportunity beyond resources controlled, considering it as a kind of managerial approach rather than a specific time, like a business's creation or a specific person within a business, such as its founder. This is why NHCE always believes in backing up entrepreneurs and supporting them for a better future. I would now like to call upon Dr. Sheila Mishra, Professor and Head of Department of Management Studies, NHCE, Member, Secretary Karnataka and Kerala Chapter, AIMS, to please give the welcome address.
Thank you so much, Pooja. A very good morning to one and all present here. And it's a very proud and happy moment for all of us. The idea which originated a few months ago today taken her shape in the form of Faculty Development Program on Nurturing Entrepreneurship and Startup Management. At New Horizon, we have a robust entrepreneurship ecosystem with the ED Cell bringing the entrepreneurship awareness and the incubation center for incubating the student ideas and mentoring them. We have 132 startups at our campus and 26 of them have been incubated at the incubation center. And a few months back, we have launched a mega entrepreneurship and seed funding event, UDAN, and I'm sure most of you are aware of this. UDAN is a vision of our Honorable Chairman Sir to make our students self-reliant and independent, in line with the vision of our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi ji, with the theme of Startup India and the Atmanirbhar Bharat. Aim of UDAN is to identify such 100 student startups which can be taken forward, which can be seed funded, and which can create the future that the India is aiming at. During the UDAN process, we have realized that there is a need of educating, creating more awareness among that entrepreneurship can also be taught, though it lies in spirit and action, but yes, there can be mentors, there can be faculty mentors who can be trained and can become the entrepreneurs, can become the entrepreneurship mentors for the students who are coming to them with the ideas, giving them a business viability, business sense as well. And that is where the idea came up. So while discussing with Association of Indian Management Schools, which is a very primary body supporting management education, supporting a lot of events like faculty development programs, and in discussion with our principals of all the three campuses, New Horizon College Marathahalli, New Horizon College Kasturi Nagar, and New Horizon College of Engineering. Today we stand before you presenting the faculty development program for this 1 week. Dignitaries on the dais and off the dais, it gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to this 1 week faculty development program starting today till 11th of June. We have an amazing galaxy of speakers and guests who will be taking you through various sessions and will be guiding you on this entrepreneurship journey. Dr. Mohan Manghani sir, a leader par excellence, a visionary educationist and a philanthropist, chairman of New Horizon Educational Institution, we welcome you sir in absentia. On this August occasion, I had the proud opportunity to welcome the chief guest of the program, Dr. Satish Prasad Rath, an amazing personality who wears multiple hats, being a physician, scientist, inventor, adjunct faculty, founder of Santan Group of Institutions, having more than 20 patents to his name, and ex-Intel, ex-Wipro, ex-Xerox. May I request our principal, Dr. Manjunatha sir, to present a token of welcome to Dr. Satish Prasad Rath sir. Thank you so much, sir, for accepting our invite and being here as a chief guest of the program. Guest of honor, Dr. Anand Gopal, the Director General, Sri Saraswati Tyagarajan College, Coimbatore, who will be joining us online, is an accomplished management educator and a senior professional. He is the Regional Vice President of South Wing of Association of Indian Management Schools. Sir, we welcome you virtually. Dr. Anil, the guest of honor of today's program, is a dynamic leader. He is a Senior Dean and Director at Wellington School, Bangalore, a thought leader admired equally among the management fraternity and the industry professionals. the immediate past president of AIMS. May I request our principal sir, Dr. Manjunatha, to welcome Dr. Anil Rao sir. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome Mr. Mohan Kumar, the Global Practice Head, Wipro Limited, who is like a masiha of involving and imparting the best of his knowledge in the various fields of technology, data science, and soft skills to the students. Extremely honored to know a person like you, Mohan sir. May I request Dr. Bodhi Satwan sir, Principal New Horizon College, Mathagally, to welcome Mohan Kumar sir. I also welcome Dr. Roni Kurian, Chairman of AIMS Karnataka Kerala Chapter, who was very instrumental in supporting this particular FGP. We welcome you, Dr. Roni, in absentia. Dr. Bhavani, the Principal, Surana College, Bangalore, and also leading AIMS Karnataka Kerala Chapter as a Vice Chairperson, an extremely humble personality, an educationist and a leader with a wonderful progressive thoughts on the development of faculty members. We are very happy to welcome you to the FGP. May I request Dr. Bodhisattan sir to welcome Dr. Bhavani. May I invite Dr. Manohar sir on the stage, please, to take your place. Dr. Manohar C, Senior Director, ISPR, Bangalore, and Chairman, Vision Group, is a fantastic orator, a great leader, wearing multiple hats as an advisor to the startups, regional President South, Indo-American Chambers of Commerce, very active in organizing the knowledge sharing sessions across Karnataka. With his guidance, we are also signing an MOU with IACC today. At this August occasion, we are very happy to welcome you, sir. May I request our principal, Dr. Manjunatha, sir, to present the welcome token. May I also request, sir, to welcome Dr. Jacob Cresta, the founder and chairman, CM Enviro System Private Limited, chairman L Square Eco Products Private Limited, and the member, National Executive Council, IACC. An accomplished personality, today we have the pleasure of your presence. We welcome you, sir. I welcome Dr. Nandishri, Professor at IBA and Advisory Member AIMS, for his presence, and thankful to him for joining hands in conceptualizing the program and providing the required support and motivation. I also welcome Mr. Parth Sarthi, it is here. I also welcome Mr. Jayesh, member of the South India Regional Council of IICC. Our Deans of Academics, Dr. Anandi, Dean of Quality Assurance and Skill Development, Dr. Sanjeev Sharma, Head of Departments of the Chemistry Department, Dr. Anusuya, and Dr. Uma Reddy, the Head of AIML, and Dr. Manikandan sir, Head of Computer Engineering. I welcome you all. I welcome all the participants of this FGP, all the faculty members, the faculty and student coordinators, and the student on the audience who have this privilege today to listen to all these wonderful speakers and learn a lot from them. So wishing you all a wonderful day. Have a great day ahead. God bless you all. Thank you.
The Indo-American Chamber of Commerce, IACC, established in 1968, is the apex bilateral chamber synergizing India-US economic engagement. It was started by Ambassador Chester Bowles along with the then industry leaders and visionaries like Mr. S.L. Kirloskar, Mr. Harish Mahendra, Mr. H.P. Nanda, Mr. Ambalal Kilochand, Mr. A.M.M. Arunachalam, Mr. Frederick Fales, and Mr. John Oris Sims for enhancing US-India economic engagement. Today, IACC has pan-India presence with around 1,700 members representing cross-section of US and Indian industry. We will now have the MOU signing between Indo-American Chambers of Commerce and New Horizon College of Engineering.
You got some old
Thank you, dignitaries. To start off with, we have our very first address by Dr. Anil Rao, immediate past resident, AIMS, Senior Dean and Director, Wellinker, Institute of Management Development and Research, Bangalore. During his college days, Dr. Anil has been an exemplary student throughout his academic year. Served as a topper in Shivaji University, Kolhapur, in his BCom, MCom, MCM degree. Dr. Anil is also a chartered accountant by profession and was awarded the Chitragupta Award for his outstanding performance in management accounting by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, New Delhi. Dr. Anil has over 13 years of corporate experience. His passion towards education sector forced him to leave corporate world at the peak of his career. Dr. Rao received the BMA Best Director Award for the year 2022. He also received Bangalore Education Society Leadership in Management Education Advocacy Award in 2018. In recognition of his service, he was unanimously elected as National President of Association of India Management Schools, AIMS, for 2017-18. Dr. Anil also attended the Harvard Graduate School of Education Institute for Management and Leadership in Education. He drives himself towards networking and continuous learning and believes that network is the net worth and always be hungry to learn new things. A very warm welcome to you, sir. The stage is now yours.
Thank you for the elaborate introduction. Good morning, dignitaries. On the dais, Chief Guest Dr. Satish Prasad Rath, Guest of Honor Dr. Nanda Gopal, who will be virtually present. Mr. Mohan Kumar from Wipro, my colleagues from Association of Indian Management Schools, Dr. Manohar, Dr. Bhavani, Dr. Sheelan Misra, Dr. Kraska, and principal of this magnanimous institution of New Horizon, Dr. Manjunatha sir. First of all, I would like to thank the organizers for inviting me today for this 1 week national level faculty development program on nurturing entrepreneurship and the startup management. I also bring greetings from Dr. Ajit Singh, President of AIMS, all the board members of AIMS, and of course my colleagues from Wellington Institute of Management, Bangalore and Mumbai. I thank the organizers for the splendid arrangement and the excellent lineup of speakers for all the important sub-themes of this brilliant FDP. This collection of wisdom from all the elite speakers, I'm sure, will enthrall the participants to take up entrepreneurship as a discipline, one amongst the core focus area of national education policy, which will showcase greater impact and of course, focus on outcomes. Frankly, we are all blessed that we are in Bangalore, the city of innovations and startups. As you all know, we have all witnessed the rise of innovation culture in various organizations, the corporates in specific, the tools of design thinking being used to disrupt the usual ways of working and building new solutions. Also, there has been many building blocks laid by the companies to dwell on the entrepreneurship ecosystem to encourage employees to incubate their ideas. At the same time, at our country, India witnessed 11 unicorns in 2020, 44 companies hit the unicorn list in 2021, and in between Jan and May 2022 itself, 14 companies turned unicorns valued over $1 billion. India is now ranked third in an overall unicorn creation, overtaking United Kingdom, US being the first and China being the second respectively. So I salute the entrepreneurs of India, the real heroes of ideas, team of action and risk takers, as I may say so, for taking such a giant leap to position India in what it is today. Today's FTB is a step ahead to bring all of you together to sensitize the nuts and bolts of startup management and creating the entrepreneurship ecosystem. The recent MHRD's Innovation Cell initiative of AICTE is a bold step to foster innovations in higher education institutions. The various initiatives like Think in India and the initiatives to brand India as a global innovation hub, creating innovation clubs, creating guidelines for India Innovation Index for ranking Indian educational institutions are all steps to encourage faculty to take the center stage. Innovation Fund to support innovative projects and startups from colleges, the national IPR policy, pricing policy for your innovations, etc. need to be leveraged to the fullest. Now is the time to introspect, look back as we did, post-COVID or during COVID, and reflect on how we can build new competencies and create an ecosystem to nurture to be part of the entrepreneurship journey. I, for one, believe that if we have to lead yourself or lead the organization in this path of startup management, we need to know ourselves first. We need to build a new persona. If you want to lead these initiatives in your institution or build your own startup or encourage students to be entrepreneurs, you need to mull on few competencies and build within yourself. This applies to all the participants, including students here, who would like to embrace the entrepreneurship ecosystem. First and foremost, you need to instill trust in yourself and others. Second is drive with a purpose for yourself and have a clear vision. Third and foremost, have deeper business insights. Collaborate and be very resourceful. Have effective communication, if I may say, business communication. Have customer focus. Build your financial acumen. Commercial mindset is a must. Focus on good decision quality. Build adequate and more networks. Have situational adaptability. Understand the secrets of managing ambiguity. And finally, be tech savvy. When I'm talking about these 11, 12 competencies alone, we can start with your own and nurture students and build the entrepreneurship ecosystem in your institution. I also urge the faculty who are present here, while building these competencies, please imbibe few core values which are very critical in your persona. Like you should look passionate, you should have been trustworthy, innovative, and open to collaborations. Only then we can achieve these goals set by the National Education Policy, which focuses on outcomes. If I may say, students who have opted out of placements to pursue their dreams of startup, and thereby the ratio of entrepreneurs should exceed the number of students going for jobs and placements. Mind you, this is not our only goal. We all are again at the cusp of change. As you all know, the war-like situation at the moment, the inflation crisis has slowed the pace of funding and the growth of startups. Many startups have announced major layoffs and the pace has slowed down. It's time that we move up the ladder as faculty, change our gears, build new competencies, not only to establish and nurture startups, but to think about the big picture, the problems in the society, and how we can build together solutions for a better tomorrow. Having contributed enough to yourself or the institution, we need to step up and sensitize students to get to the bigger purpose for the society. The issues of employability, as you all know, improving the gross enrollment ratio in higher education, sustainability, are all looming ahead of us, and we have to understand the urgency in ensuring this becomes our prime focus. So let's not stop at the institution level, but put our act together, understand and use the emerging technologies, which all of you know about, artificial intelligence, AR, VR, analytics, and others, to solve societal issues also. Finally, what is the use of knowledge we all seek if we don't put good use to the societal benefit? I'm of the firm belief that you all will do it. My best wishes for the faculty development program and the faculty participants and the students at large. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for those wonderful words. A leader, a motivator, a strong believer in entrepreneurship. He believes in job creation rather than job seeking. I now request Dr. Manjunatha, Principal, New Horizon College of Engineering, to please address the gathering.
Respected dignitaries on dais, of the dais, respected teachers, and my dearest students. Today we are here to understand the importance of the startup. Generally, we call the cell as innovation, incubation, and entrepreneurship cell. Why we talk about the innovation? Because innovation is very much required now to find the new concept, new product for the society. When actually it is born, we need to incubate that new concept till it comes to the stage where we can exposure is required. Then we have to start our entrepreneurship development. So what India needs now? India needs leaders. Always we talk about our students are not employable and the student needs the personality development programs, and students should know the expectation of industry. All those things we hear in the college. What for? To provide job seekers. But my actually the personal opinion is India needs employer than employees. Definitely, the job seekers, they are going to understand the employability factor. Even they are going to understand what are the expectations of the industry and the new market strategies. All those things definitely the job seekers will understand and they are going to join. And getting a job nowadays, it is not a tough job because many industries are available. But that industries are sufficient in our India, that we need to think. Here, we all talk about Atmanirbhar. For Atmanirbhar, the intention is to produce our own products. And if you look at what all the new products are there, sometimes unfortunately I have to tell the mobile phone, even the chip what we use and other new products are actually invented by some other countries. But we are all working in that companies. It is not maybe good for our country because we have good talent. What we need is the motivation and support, mentoring is required to produce our own product. I'm sure this kind of the FDP program and the speakers, definitely they are going to motivate everyone to think about the innovation. And this, in this connection, we actually started UDAN. This competition, we started for this purpose only. We wanted to just pick the good innovation products and definitely we are going to support them, mentoring them, and even our management is announced already to support them financially. What is the purpose of this? The purpose is to actually support the scheme, this Atmanirbhar. Once we achieve it, I'm sure now that India is developing country, definitely it is going to become developed nation in future. Because if you start producing our own product, definitely we can stop importing the product. We can start increasing our export business. If we do that, I want actually the currency, what we are seeing now, maybe 70 rupees or 60 or 50 to 70 rupees in terms of dollars, it is fluctuating. But tomorrow I want that $1 should equal to 1 rupee. It will come if we work with the Atmanirbhar scheme. And we need employers, particularly not just a job seekers. And we need leaders, not followers. Always we have to lead the team, not to be followed. That if we actually understand, definitely you will all think about the innovation and your own product development. With this, once again, I thank the Department of Management Studies. They are taking initiative to conduct this kind of FTP program to expose yourself to this initiative, and majority of the faculty members are there here. We are training you as a trainer. So whatever you are going to learn today, please you have to inform all your students, motivate them to involve in innovation. Innovation is now, it is required for the India. Let us work for innovation and let us strengthen our India and let us work together Thank you, one and all. And also, I wish you all the best for this FTP program. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for those motivating words. Our next address is by Dr. Satish Prasad, physician, scientist, inventor, and founder, SFCRI. Dr. Prasad is a physician, scientist, digital health professor, and founder. Sir's research area involves sustainable health system design, which is based on meaningful patient engagement. Sir is also a founder of SFCRI, that is Santan Fertility Center and Research Institute. Dr. Satish is a scientist, founder, and investor. He has been more than 20 patents in his name and ex-Philips Lab, Intel Lab, Wipro Lab, and Xerox Lab. He is also in board of startups and institution. Interestingly, he is a doctor too. A very warm welcome to you, sir. The floor is now open to you.
Thank you so much. We'll allow some time, for the dignitaries to settle down. Before that, I can do some exercise. So, how many students are from science stream? If you raise your hands. That's actually fantastic. How many from management stream? I mean, you can be from science and management both, okay? And how many are from humanities or design? Let's say non-science or commerce. Okay, it's a very interesting, set of panels. So, first of all, thank you, Professor Seelan, for this wonderful invite, and I owe you one. So, last time I could not come, during your invite, I was traveling. So, this time, I had to really make time for this. I really enjoy these interactions because I still consider myself to be a student, and I'm still learning. And then when I get a gathering of, let's say, people like you, I get something more. So, I gain much more compared to, what I might be able to give you today. And let's make it interactive. I tried to put few decks, what I've understood so far. My background is a little bit weird. So, I started as a doctor and specialized into pediatrics. Maybe that gave me the, energy to keep on thinking new, because, we deal with children from 3 kilos till they grow to 30 kilos. So they are changing every day, and that is the ever-changing situation. How do you manage it? Maybe I drew it from there. Are the slides up? So let me thank profusely Dr. Silan Mishra, for inviting me for this, and let me also thank all the speakers who spoke and with all the dignitaries with whom I interacted. You have a lovely campus. And we are going to do a little bit of, small workshop. So till they prepare, can I ask for a small exercise? Let's raise all of us, hands. Yeah, including the faculties. Now, can we raise it a little bit more? All of us can, right? So this is a biological phenomenon. Please relax. So this is a biological phenomenon, which we are studying now. How much we are able to realize our own potential. So biology always preserves energy. How cells are made, how organs are made, how humans are made are, whenever a task is given in front of us, we always, preserve something as reserve, and then, go for 50% or 60% or 70% of our potential. But as you just saw yourself now, you can reach to 80%, 90%, 100% of your potential if you are aware about it. The faculty development program on entrepreneurship is only about this. This is as simple as this. You have the potential inside you. You can make this happen only provided that you are able to realize it. And that's where your faculties come in, that's where your institution comes in, that's where your social media comes in, that's where your influence and social network comes in. Once you are getting influenced, or once you are getting inspired by something which is happening in your surrounding, in the world, then it influences your own potential. Entrepreneurship is nothing but realizing your own potential. If you know that yes, you can do this, then you will find the ways how to do it. How to do it, there are a lot of processes, methods, references, templates. But the most initial part, which is needed is when do you realize, when you get the switch on, when you get that ignition on? So once you get that ignition on, then I think, you can do it, in a much bigger way. I think we are struggling for the slides. Are we on? So till it comes up, I can speak through it, but I wanted you to leave with some templates and some reference, how do you do this part? So entrepreneurship is mostly, defined as we are doing something where we are solving a problem. So mostly you are applying innovation in a very scientific as well as in a repeatable way. Dr. Silan, can you see through this?
You just place the camera here. No. That fellow should hold here, sir. Come here. Hold there. ముందర పెట్టాలంటాం.
We have a template, but maybe, till that comes up, I can keep you engaged with something, which is much more interesting. So let's do a small exercise again. Which are the names or logos you think are very, very innovative? Which you are influenced with? Anyone? Let me help you. Maybe it's Google, it's Apple, it's Twitter, it's Facebook, because they are the largest companies in the world. Slowly you would be not listening to names like Motorola. Slowly you would be not listening like companies like Sony, like Ericsson, like Nokia, because they are slowly, let's say, fading it down. Making it more, let's say, realistic. Last week we had a meeting regarding, how Bollywood is going to revive itself. So you saw 3 big mega movies coming in. There is Puspa, there is RRR, and then there is KGF 2. And KGF 2 has got a lot of, thing for us to be proud of because, it comes from Bangalore. But there is a big thinking happening that, why Bollywood is struggling to catch up to, what's coming from South. Even if there is a language barrier, still the dub movies are actually coming out very nicely. There is a lot of innovation lessons which is coming out of this. So what we saw in COVID, where you saw in Amazon Prime, in Netflix, in all the regional, let's say, OTT platforms, is new content is being, let's say, encouraged. New actors are being encouraged. New types of ideas are being encouraged, as well as new kind of technicians and directors and producers are getting jobs. This tells us that, if we are able to do something which is very new, very unique, in a sustainable way, we can be actually, much bigger, let's say, entrepreneurs in this world. So I see the slides up. Thank you so much for this. Sorry for the glitch. So that's all I'm going to talk about, whatever I've learned so far, how do we nurture entrepreneurship? We can move to the next one, please. So there are a lot more definitions of, entrepreneurship and innovation. And this is the biggest lesson, which I have learned is when you don't know about something, then you write very lengthy paragraphs about definition. And the definition keeps on changing. So we go back to the French history that, how enter is the word, enter into entrepreneurship. And sometimes we get fixated on that. So my lesson, as well as my suggestion to you would be, don't get fixated on definitions. They are theoretical, they are not practical. This is my definition of innovation or entrepreneurship, which I have derived based on all my 20 years of work, how entrepreneurship really works. So I would say that part is, COVID definitely showed us what works and what doesn't work. And if you really reflect back, 2 startups, like let's say, like BioNTech, which Pfizer actually collaborated to create the, COVID vaccine, as well as Moderna. Moderna is a startup again, funded by National Institute of Health, which is equivalent of our Department of Science and Technology. These 2 vaccines really saved the world. If we see the Oxford, the Covishield, what we got, that came out of Oxford University as a spin-off. It was licensed out. So it's like New Horizon College licensing out some of your technology or innovation to the world to save the world. And also we saw biological E producing actually a vaccine. So when you really see that part, what saved the world when the world faced a problem like COVID, these are the people who came up. Now, who are the people who, let's say, missed the bus? You didn't see Apple doing something to help us in COVID. You didn't see Google to do something to help us in COVID. You didn't see Facebook to do something to help us in COVID. You didn't see all the big pharma companies, who did to do something. You didn't see something Reliance doing, or let's say Tata doing. I'm not saying that, they are guilty of not doing this, but definitely, this is a big burden on them that, could this help the society when the society needed them. But the young guys, who are out of college, the young guys who are startups actually came front to help the world, to save the world. Now, if you have a problem in front of you, if you can find a way, that is management. You definitely saw, if you are students and faculties, what Elon Musk said is the American management colleges, should stop teaching management. What he meant is, if it is not helpful for society, then it is of no use. And if something, somebody is coming without a degree but can still create a solution where people can be really saved out of this, then definitely, this is a big stuff. So when I say that part is, people who are big, like Pfizer, like Serum Institute, like AstraZeneca, they had this, they didn't have this big ego. They said that part, yes, a startup can do much better than us. We are talking about entrepreneurship a lot more now, how big companies are also struggling to have innovations within them. So even if it is Pfizer, it has to come down to the level of BioNTech, a small German startup, to say that part, yes, I will collaborate with you and I will take your license and produce vaccine for the world. Same is for Moderna, same is for Serum Institute. So India is considered as the vaccine factory for the world, but Serum Institute could license and could produce Covishield for the world, for which, we are so proud now that, we supplied vaccine to the rest of the world. So you can very much think that, the big threes, the big pharma, the big four, when we say the KPMG, the Deloittes, the EYs and the Ernst & Youngs and the PwCs, they were also caught napping. Because, management can take you up till somewhere, but when you say that part is okay, are you applying it on society? That's where innovation comes. So as the world has changed, definitely the skilling should also change. This is the main, part for the world. And I think, I'm very happy that, New Horizon is conducting this faculty development program on entrepreneurship and innovation, and this is very, very important. Yeah. So this is how I would define entrepreneurship in this current world. And this would be my definition for this workshop. And each word is important. So any originality or invention, it can be a technical invention, it can be a design invention, it can be a commercial invention. Any invention that is applied to address fundamental need of a critical mass in a sustainable manner. And I'll be explaining you everything. So what are the four components, I want you to take home from this talk? First, to start with an invention or an original idea. So when we say an invention, it's a patent, that comes from the technical community. When it comes from the humanity community, we call it a design patent. So patent can be two types. It can be a technical invention, it can be a design invention. Because of computer science, what we are now getting is, you can also have algorithms which can be defined as inventions. So if you are coming from commerce background, if you are coming from humanity background, if you have a computer scientist or an IT person, who is your co-founder, you can also start with an original idea. Second part is, even if you are the greatest of the invention, from the big companies, which missed out in this bus, why? Because, they were not focusing on something what the people need, what the critical mass need. It has to be based on what people need. It cannot be based on what you know. This is a very big difference where inventions fail. All inventions are not innovations. Inventions which are applied successfully are called innovations. This is very, very important to know. You know computer science, you know nuclear physics, you know commerce, you know design. That doesn't mean that, you have to invent into that area only. People should, they should have the need for it. So identifying the need is a very, very important part. This is a very important intersection between faculty and students. As students, you are taught about to know about a particular thing, in depth. whereas faculties have a responsibility to know things in breadth. When this depth and breadth meets, then you have a successful entrepreneurship journey, which can start from the beginning. That's where the institution also comes, which is very, very important. An institution has a responsibility to bring in interdisciplinary skills so that it is providing a playground for this breadth. Correct? Now, it has to be for a critical mass. You invented something. I was going through some of the UDAN applications, and there is a lot of similarity. Maybe we have spoken to each other. And this critical mass factor is always lost. Is it for 100 people? Is it for 1,000 people? Is it for a million people? Is it for the entire country? This part you need to start thinking. You cannot be comfortable in your own comfort zone and start doing something for your own home and call it an innovation. No. You have to define the critical mass. Now, the confusion here, what comes in is, unless you invent something which is for the entire globe, is it not called an innovation? No. So let's say, if you're sending satellite and then sending humans to the home, to the moon, it is still based on a critical mass of 100 people. If Elon Musk or let's say Jeff Bezos can send 100 people successfully to the globe, to the outer sphere, it's still a successful business model. So critical mass is always defined based on your business model. And the last part is, it has to be sustainable. It should not be an invention for 1 month or 1 year or 2 years. It has to be sustainable. What are the parameters of sustainability will be coming out of this? Next, please. So let's start some examples. All these, let's say, companies. Let's say Google. What is the invention? They had the search algorithm. These two young folks came together and had a lovely search algorithm on which you can search a large database, right? This is the, as fundamental as that. What is the need they are solving? They're not solving a search algorithm, how a search algorithm architecture is done, how this is presented, how it is built. They are solving a particular need of human being, which is called curiosity. Everyone, whenever we are facing some challenges, we are going to Google. Why? Because we have this curiosity, right? What we do not know out of this vast database, we need to solve this. This is for curiosity. Which is the critical mass? Now this is not actually unknown to anyone. The entire globe is depending on Google for that. But how it became sustainable? Because Yahoo had also, I think all of you are kids, when we were of your age, we have seen, tons of search engines, and Yahoo was the big leader. Yahoo was much bigger compared to what it is now. But nobody could make a search algorithm sustainable because they didn't have the business model behind it. Where Google very inventively came out with ad revenue, how much you search, the end user is not paying a price or a cost, whereas it is coming from the related ad revenue. This is what made Google sustainable. Now if you go for, if it is Google which is so big, is it struggling for innovations again or not? It is struggling big time for innovation. Last year you saw that it shut down its $2 billion program on health because they could not make anything out of health. And if you go a little bit deeper with Google, I have got my friends at Google Labs. Recently, Meet and Duo are going to be merged because they're confused about whether Duo is a product or Meet is a product. And they've got, as we speak, tens and hundreds of projects are being shut down at Google. So even if it is Google, it is also struggling for innovation. It is still depending on that search algorithm to make their business. And that is actually more than 80% of their revenue. The point I want to make is, if you are coming up with something new, you should not be thinking that no, Amazon is working on this, Google is working on this, Tata is working on this, Reliance is working on this. So I have a big behemoth in front of me and let me not work on this idea. No, that's wrong. And the faculties also should encourage students to think about something that can you think differently, and even if it is a Google, it cannot actually solve this problem. Same actually goes for Facebook. They did this, and Facebook is much more closer to you because it got invented while Zuckerberg was actually in the campus. It was a social network algorithm, and their big failures have been crypto and health. Facebook also had a big health division. Facebook recently closed down the crypto division, and the world is going crazy about crypto, but Facebook could not solve it. So innovation is not a given game by anyone. Each one of you can innovate if you really wish to have that fire in you. But For sustainability also, Facebook has faced, series of challenges. It has to be ethical, it has to be liked by the mass. Currently, Facebook has, changed to in this perception that, privacy is a challenge with Facebook. No big country wants to commit to Facebook. They started with this open internet program as well as, many things. So to stay sustainable, your connect with the mass has to stay in an ethical way. Same way Apple, I think, how many of you watched World, Developer Conference of Apple, which happened yesterday? I think, I see multiple people. What you see now is post Steve Jobs, Apple is still struggling to find out a new product post iPad, which is as successful as an iPhone or let's say, iPod or iPad. So struggle for big companies do stay, but they have created a legacy because they are serving the mass and they are still staying sustainable in the long run. Next one. Are we just talking about American companies, which are very innovative? No. Let me talk about your neighbors. People like you who have invented big companies. How many of you know the company ID, which makes butter and vada and everything? What's the need here? All the nuclear families, all the students like you, or let's say bachelors, we struggle to make a meal out of it. And there is a big burden from our parents who cooked so deliberately. I am sure all the madams who are sitting here also know, how to make delicious dosa or vada. I can't cook a single thing. And this is a big challenge for me. Now here comes a guy, who is from, like you, from a management school and thinks, yes, can I make making idli, dosa, vada, much easier like my mom makes. That's the need. Is this need existing? Very much existing. What's the knowledge needed for this? I was interacting with a faculty who comes from the chemistry background. So you have chemistry here, you have commerce here, you have management here. Somebody like you can think that, yes, I can make the breakfast much more easier. And this, let's say, big innovation of do-it-yourself breakfast at home started in Japan almost 70 years back. Started in US almost around 60 years back. But now it is starting here because people are connecting with the need and what can be solved around it. Who are the people who missed out on this? Hindustan Lever, Tata's, Starbucks, Cafe Coffee Day, Haldiram, Maya, ITC. Are these big names? Are these people Indians? They are Indians. Why they could not think something which ID is really making? And I would really encourage you to go and visit the ID lab someday. And I was speaking with him, and then I'm now starting to encourage him that let the students come, because he can be a good role model for people like you who can become actually who can create much more IDs out of this. Same way, let's look for you'll be getting this exam, advertisements in TV, right? Pharmacy, 1mg. All of you must be seeing, medicines delivered, at convenience. Who all needed it? I think all of us needed it. And I think in COVID, we very much needed this, right? Medicine to be delivered at our home stop. Now, who are the guys who failed this? Who missed this bus? Oh, I think, I'm, not changed that part. Let's say the Apollos, big hospitals, all the IT giants. I think I also come from Wipro. Let's say the Wipros and the HCLs and the TCS and the Infosys and the IBMs. Because this is made on an innovative commercial complex, on a commercial model. This is not big invention. The struggle they have is they do not have a differentiation now. It is still pushed by capital. So sustainability is a challenge for 1mg, Dr. Lalpath and all these people. But much more than that, these innovations are possible. What you are seeing on your TV is being done by somebody like you. It is not being done by somebody who is coming from Mars. So just believe in yourself and you can do these things. If you see, I think when I spoke about this, Amazon Prime, there is a Telugu only OTT platform called AHA, because Telugu produces a lot of movies. There is also something on Bengali, which is catering the Bangladeshi population and the Bengali speaking population. And these are extremely successful platforms. Because if it is in the culture to watch movie, they had actually didn't have this option to watch movies, and COVID actually made them these big companies to happen. Same also you're seeing with Swiggy and Zomato. All of you are using Swiggy and Zomato like verb, right? But let's say sustainability is still a big challenge. We saw what happened after Zomato became public. Same is also Swiggy struggling to make it profitable. So they are not sustainable. If you remember from my old slide, they're still struggling to find out that, how do they make their company, sustainable. If you are following news, LIC also after being listed is actually down, because for the valuation it was listed, it is actually very, very down. Next, please. So, this is my final slide, so just to make you easy, you can breathe after this. So, what are the key takeaways? So there are 3 people who are working under this faculty development program, right? There is a responsibility as well as a goal for the student. There is a responsibility of the faculty and there is a responsibility of the institute. So I feel, if an invention has to really sustain, it has to be built on 3 independent models or 3 essential factors. I call it my tub design model. So it has to have a technical component to scale. It has to have usability or design so that it is intuitive to use, and it has to have a profitable business model. What it means for students is you would be coming from either one stream, right? That's why I asked you, are you from science or non-science or let's say design kind of, let's say, background. So even if you are from technical or usability or business, don't lose heart. You have to find your co-founders and come to your faculties, come to your institute to say, I have got this great idea, but I need to find my 2 other co-founders. When you have 3 co-founders of this background, where technology is there, usability or design is there, and business is there, your chances of success are going to be much, much more higher. And this is what we are training now. There is a big research which is happening on this at Stanford. How do we help the students to seek co-founders? Because you are in a rebel stage. At the stage where you are, you'll be thinking you'll be doing everything. I was also thinking the same when I was at your age. Nothing wrong in that part. But it is much more easier if you find your co-founders than to make your business much more sustainable in the long run. Same way, the need, what is the need? It is not about what you love. It is about what people need. And you need to connect that. Meet as many people as possible. Travel as much as you can. Read as many journals as possible. Try to find out what is the fundamental need you are solving. It can be cooking, it can be entertainment, it can be sports, it can be gaming, it can be anything, but it has to be a fundamental need of people. So the critical mass is, if you are solving a larger problem, more the merrier. So try to actually go for the larger goal. Now what people actually, the faculty are actually doing for this, they can definitely help in teaming for these 3 co-founders to come. They can always push for, validate your need. That's what, I was thinking of after the Udaan stuff is, go for fundamental needs, go for larger mass, step out of your comfort zone. And the same actually the institute can do, because, you are already sitting on an interdisciplinary institute, which is pretty good for, a very fertile environment for, innovation. Just, reach out to your neighbors and try to find out the stuff. Yeah, the next one, please. He's at the end of the slide, so he's finding, where is the next slide. So, so that would be my, last slide, and that's all I wanted to, tell you and ignite you that, yes, very much you can do it. Understanding your potential is innovation and entrepreneurship, and you are already, lucky to find yourself in a very interdisciplinary, very encouraging environment. You can definitely do this stuff. Thank you so much. Any questions or anything if you might have, you can always reach out to Dr. Sheelan, and I would happy to, let's say, assist you. I've gone through all your applications, whatever you applied through your innovation program. There were quite some, very, good ideas, and you can definitely, make it to the big league. Thank you.
Requesting Dr. Sheelan ma'am to please present a memento to Dr. Satish Pratasa.
Okay.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Moving on to the next address by Dr. Mohan Kumar, Global Practice Head, Wipro Limited. Mr. Mohan is involved in various activities like enterprise deployment, digitization of supply chain transformation program, managed multiple stakeholders across global purchasing categories, deployed end-to-end microservices-based corporate travel management across the enterprise, rich experience in winning several deals ranging from 5 million USD to 100 million USD across strategic business units, won large and strategic bids, has a strong grasp of diverse technologies that include internet, web technologies, legacy and client-server technologies. Sir has guest lectures in esteemed colleges and campuses, mentioned engineering and management students. A very warm welcome to you, sir. The floor is now open to you.
Yeah, it's working. Very good morning. Are you still asleep? Awake? So you must be wondering what is Wipro got to do in this entrepreneurship. I know I am a black sheep among this next 5 days entrepreneurship. I put a stake to Dr. Sheelan. I said I need to speak, use the platform. So next 15 minutes, the reason is either I'm at Wipro or I'm at New Horizon. This is my extended work here. Thanks to New Horizon Management, I'm in Board of Studies and as well as in mathematics. So entrepreneurship, to even spell it took me 3-4 days. If you go to spell check, now it's very hard to. So pardon me if there is a spell mistake. It's not my mistake. Okay. So it's very hard. To put, if you ask me the spell bee check, it's going to be very hard. I don't think I'll pass in that entrepreneurship. But nevertheless, so we will touch base on how do we nurture and how do we move from, nature and nurture, what is entrepreneurship. For faculty listening, you can set the paper. What is the difference between entrepreneurship and entrepreneurship? For students, you already know, one exam question is coming, 5 marks. Yeah? Okay, so what triggers, innovation, what triggers entrepreneurship, intrapreneurship? All this to start with, we have business problems, right? I think our previous speakers already highlighted what some of the businesses. I think his message is very clear, either we innovate or die. And that's where the businesses die. Whatever was top Forbes 500 when I joined, when I had a lot of hair. Of course, it's all missing now, right? After spending time with customers. So you see, not many are there in top 500 Forbes, whatever you call, right? So what triggers innovation? The industry is going through a lot of re-platforming. We call industry 4.0. I think by the time students finish, you'll also have industry 5.0. It's like catching up with Bahubali and RR2 or whatever, KGF 3. Right? You will have industry 5.0 very soon. And you also see, what we see is experimentation. This whole thing about innovation, whatever you see, is all about experimentation. Right? We will try, we will fail. If we try, I had my own, when we did the consulting work with McKinsey, I asked my McKinsey partner, how did you get a job in McKinsey? He said he failed 6 times. So one of the things is you have to fail fast, but that's take the lessons forward. So experimentation is a big thing in the innovation. Of course, the quest for talent and digital, we all know, we have to live and breathe. And innovation, just to give statistics, 40% of the companies spend on innovation. the budget we have, which of course I will give little bit more details as we go through. And what are the goals? So I'm not going to read every bit. This is a slide from Gartner, who's our advisory, just to see top few things on goals. Of course, you also see the one we work with universities. Very important that research we work. That is more important, right? And if you see some of the things, revenue growth, how do we co-innovate with customers, competitive advantage, right? And these are some of the. I just thought I'll put a laundry list here. What triggers and what are the goals for innovation? And next gen, we all know we're all living and breathing by the technologies. We know it, I mean, you name it, we are all using our industry IoTs, and 5G is not very far. South Korea, the first country which I think all of them are on 5G onboarded, and very soon we'll see our own country will have 5G presence. And quantum computing, HSI and 3D printing, I think we are all aware of. So I'm from cloud competency, and we do business with hyperscalers. We call Azure, Google Cloud, and Amazon with AWS, of course, with all IBMs and SAPs of the world. So just to give statistics, every day we talk about entrepreneurship. Next 4 days, you will talk about entrepreneurs. So roughly it's estimated this is a 2020, 582 plus million entrepreneurs in this world, but you will never hear anything called intrapreneur. I mean, that doesn't come every day, right? So I will just talk to you about what is intrapreneur. And even again, I told you, 5 marks question already given for you. Entrepreneur is about setting up new businesses, new ideas. I think we have already seen a lot of things today's world, and I'm happy to see youngsters today taking the charge in this entrepreneur journey, and they create new organizations from scratch, and they generate wealth for themselves. They're very proud, they work with investors and for them. Whereas entrepreneurs operate within a scope, within a boundary, within an organization. So it's about, they act like an entrepreneur, right? But within the business, and then it's about still the same, products and services, and we still need to solve customer problems. We still have to innovate, right? So whatever we do, 40% of our budget still goes to entrepreneurship. Of course, if you see the, entrepreneurship, the contribution to the top line or bottom line is about 10 to 12% of the revenue, right? And they apply same problem solving, creativity, design thinking, right? Critical thinking. All of these parameters still apply to an entrepreneur. So what it means is the risk taking. Of course, we have a cushion here within the organization, whereas entrepreneurs have more freedom, but of course they are in a very riskier playground. Yeah. So some of us, I'll just go to the next slide. I think a good slide for you to see what is the difference between these two slides. Intuitive and restorative means what sometimes we see what is, there could be a, or we could, customers are going through some pain statements, right? Business problems. So that means we are trying to apply something we can work out, we can work alternate solutions, right? Restore it. And then we financed by the company, whereas enterprises, we already have a platform, we work on it. And the risk borne by the entrepreneur himself, here the risk is taken by the company. So it's very self-explanatory, right? I'm sure you will get 5 marks. Yes? Good. Now I can see. So how do we shift? How do we nature and nurture the whole thing mindset for an employee to come and wear an entrepreneur hat? As if we are now looking at business as usual to experimental mode. So what it means is for us, reliability, consistency. Any employee goes through, after spending time, right? We learn, we fail, we best practices, we move on to the customers. We have about 1,300 customers, probably different vertical sectors, strategic market units, and different geographies. Everybody goes through the same. But what the whole nurturing is all about, how do we expose the entrepreneur to external influence, and how quick and agile we are. Of course, there will be situation ambiguity, there will be how do we look at vulnerable, how in the VUCA world, right? Prepare for them. How do we be innovative? It is not that all employers will be an entrepreneur, but definitely I see last 10 years, decade, I've been in Wipro, this is my 17th year, right? I see a lot of young, younger in the band, I would say, taking up entrepreneurship. They're exhibited, they're coming up front. So what it means, the ecosystem, what it takes to be an entrepreneur within our companies. So we have an ecosystems, we leverage intellectual properties, we have patents, and we work with, we form an innovation council, right? We work with partners, we work with customers, co-creation, and we also work with a lot of product platforms, right? We need all that extended ecosystem. Of course, very important, we also collaborate with research industries, market and research, as well as universities. In fact, if we go to Texas, which is a main hub for oil industries, we already collaborated with 2 or 3 universities there. So we need to understand how offshore drilling happens and how a retailing business in oil business, right? So for that, we tap into research material from universities, and we, of course, we work with all the partners. So this is the ecosystem setup we require for entrepreneurship. And what happens, how do we set up the roadmap? So initially we have curated startups, we have workshops, design thinking. I think afternoon session will be wonderful. In fact, I have come, today is my planned leave. More than me, my session I'm going to spend listening to Pawan Soni is doing on design thinking, right, 2 to 4. So that is, we start with that, then how do we do rapid experimentation? We set up design studios. I have set up cloud studios globally. I just traveled to Melbourne last a few weeks back, right, to set up design studios where we have experience, show and tell, immersion areas, we have collaboration, we have work zones, and then we have labs and other stuff. And extending to that, we have how do we scale up, right? So takes the small solutions, make it bigger, right? So we need help. And so of course, we all start with minimum viable product. I mean, you must have already learned that MVP in industry startups is minimal viable product. We start small and then we scale up. Okay, so what are the dimensions to look? Of course, you need solid foundation to set up entrepreneurial sort of setup. We need environment, we need governance, we need culture of curiosity. You know the 5 H and 1 W, or is it 5 W and 1 H? Why, what, when, where, and how, right? This sort of culture we require, the curious. And it doesn't mean that only youngsters will have, everybody has to have this entrepreneurial design thinking, innovation mindset, right? And so who are the partners? I'm just going through good slides so that you understand what it takes. So we have incubators, we have open data providers. Today we need, because any APIs, we connect, even government is giving a lot of data sets, right? We all understand data is the new oil, and we need anything to find out, at least in analytics, we need data, right? And we look at regulators, customers, industry association. This is the partnership we acquire if you go through the whole cycle. Use cases it could be a banking related, a fraud, or it could be related to cyber, crypto, or it could be related to any verticals, right? Or today with AR, augmented reality, virtual reality, with retail set of things, they come to us, we co-create solutions along with customers. So some of the partners we work, this is just a representative, it keeps evolving, and as we bring, so it's very important to understand the industry association. We have NASCOMs and ASCOM, CI, Confederation of Industry, right? We also have academia, which is going to, work. Otherwise, the whole thing will not work. It's just not one individual bright, we have got a bright mindset, but we need partnerships to work in an entrepreneurial work. So I just want to take another few more minutes to how do we nurture. So now we all know what is the nature of an entrepreneur or an entrepreneur for us. Now how do I create that? How do we nurture? So I will walk you a few things on how do we see the behavior, how do we provide opportunities, how do we script the transition, and so what it means. If I have to get employees to get excited, get ignited, we have to first start with the behavior, right? People who are open to learning new experiences, also new roles. The first thing is everybody will be very apprehensive. What will be my existing role? Will I get my progression? Will I get my promotion? Or will my band change? All that, include my package and salaries and all that. So just give that scenario that we have to encourage, right? And then we also capability, skills, hone them. In some cases, we may have to certify new areas, new domains, right? Recognize different form of creativity and novel ideas and through design thinking workshops. And how do we provide opportunities that shift from where you want to be and how do we do that? We are looking at design workshops. We are looking at series of things, right? Take one domain, telecom domain. I mean, amazing stuff, it's as easy, just make calls, right? This mobile phone, but you do know what it takes behind the scenes to be a mobile operator, right? And look at some of the idea challenges, jam sessions, right? Hackathons, and I think New Horizons is pioneer in this. Last 10 years I've been involved. I've seen enough of hackathons, right? And look at some of the time, take some time from employees, at least let them spend 20 to 25% of their own time, personal time, give them time. HR should give them some time and practices. So how do we split the transition? So new skills, divergent thinking, and sometimes you also have to give them part-time projects. It may be that he is working with a customer, but we are not going to pull that same person from the customer because, of course, billing is also very important. But give them some time, ensure that customer is told he's going to be only be there available for 4 days a week, and one day he's going to do work on being an entrepreneur, right? Learning communities, ideas. And so this is just to show how transition, how we nurture to be part of the ecosystem. And some of the techniques, so I'm not going to bore you another few more minutes, but just to give a thing, what happens behind the scenes, and stretch goals, right? Engage the senses. Sometimes you need use cases, maps, bring cartoons, right? Service designs. For example, you're designing an app. You find out what it takes being a UI interface, right? Use gamification, all that, and then play games, gamify the whole thing, put it in a thing. So we do have, at least we to go off sites. I mean, the luxury of going to resorts nowadays, I think, is coming back, because I'm also encouraging not to do anything in the work, but to go off so that your mind a bit open like parachute, right? And how do we establish new habits? Assign white spaces, field trips to business and outside the world, external peer networking, go to conferences. I'm glad to see at least we are all here. So similarly, I would encourage you go and attend Google workshops, open group conferences. You get more ideas. I didn't know till how this Google Map works. I attended a Google myself. They talked about us the entire 1 hour how really a Google Map works and who's the one who speaks the language of Google, right? When we go get navigation and all that. Okay, so this just I've taken from Adobe. They are into collaboration and all that, customer centricity, customer design, and they do follow innovation internally, and they encourage. So you can go and see in their website and how they encourage innovation through entrepreneurship. Right? So the action plan, if somebody is going to take, especially for businesses, start small, put an action plan, and it should not be in the PPT form, right? You have to start implementing and put some 90 days, get some buy-in, and this start and identify new roles and career paths. So make it happen. This is how we, love your job, love your domain, do something, and do along the side with as a side projects. Yes, right. Talk to colleagues. Most of the ideas come over talking over coffee. If my boss says I don't sit in my cabin ever, I will always sit in canteens. Always, because new ideas come, talking to colleagues, not familiar, also make new friends, and connected mind, and do not give up. So what are the competencies required? I think we had our previous speaker talk about a lot of things, he's already given us more, I would say, innovation, global mindset, focusing customers. I mean, this is not something new, right? We have to have this to set up the entire ecosystem. Otherwise, you cannot have, just flimsy, few things for a day and then show up. You have to take through end to end. Of course, technology is one thing. And today, I won't be surprised, you can learn all the languages within 2 to 3 weeks. For the people who are non-circuit branches or the business or the MBA scholars, I don't think today we have so much of self-paced learn. Okay, so I think that's about it. So it gives a very thing about entrepreneurship, right? And like I said, the objective is same. It's about innovation, getting new products and services in the market, be a competitive differentiator, right? And first of all, I would like to thank everybody and the management here to give me an opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Our next address is by Dr. Nanda Gopal, Regional VP South, AIMS Director, General Shri Saraswati Tyagarajan College, Coimbatore. Sir will join us on screen in a few moments. Dr. R. Nandagopal was a former director of PSG Institute of Management, Coimbatore, and Xavier Institute of Management and Entrepreneurship, Kochi. Sir joined PSG in 1994. He has over 3 decades of academic experience, serving in various capacities at leading institutions like Institute of Public Enterprise, Hyderabad, and Loyola College, Madras. Sir has organized a number of executive development programs for senior and middle-level managers and done consultancy work in the area of financial management and restructuring of organizations. Sir is a former member of ABBS and has held leadership positions in national and regional organizations, include AIMA, AIMS, CII, ICC, CMA, and Productivity Council. He is presently on the Board of Commissioners at ACBSP. He has been awarded the Honorary Citizen of Toledo, Ohio, USA, for his contribution to the Indo-American Education Initiative. A very warm welcome to you, sir. You may now start the session.
My God, is muted and talking.
So please give us a few moments, sir.
Hello.
Requesting students to please maintain discipline.
No, this is calling me.
Santosh are calling me. Santosh calling.
There's no volume.
sure that's it.
Hello. Hello.
You may start.
Hello. You are able to hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Very good morning to one and all present here. Thank you very much for a nice introduction. And also, I thank Professor Shilan Mishra for inviting me to be the part of this inaugural function of the Entrepreneur Development Program. And I am very happy that New Horizon College of Engineering joined with the Association of Indian Management Schools to conduct this interesting workshop on entrepreneurial development. I think, as you all know, India is now marching ahead of the new generation, and the new generation students comes with a lot of aspirations. See, today, if you really look at the kind of opportunities for the younger generation and especially the newer generation with the technology blended activities, products and services are coming up. See, last 10 years, the aspirations of students have changed. So maybe 15, 20 years back, every one of us who graduated wanted to go and take up a government job. And slowly the interest or the attraction for the government jobs started reducing. People started looking at the private sector jobs because the good salary and the kind of see government job again a security, the private sector job again a good salary and perks. So people started moving out of government sector and they moved out of the private. Now, last 15 years, we could see a very interesting phenomena. Now, most of the younger generation, whether they graduates from good engineering colleges or an IITs and IIMs, are trying to get into entrepreneurship. They have an ambition, they have a vision and mission to start something new. And this has actually put India into good development of economy. I think last 20 years, if you look at the new generation companies, all first generation entrepreneurs have started coming. Now, I belong to a place called Coimbatore. I think you all know that Coimbatore is a city of entrepreneurship, where the entrepreneurship ecosystem was very strong. The industries in and around Coimbatore all again promoted by the first generation entrepreneurs. In fact, if you really look at now, the students who passed out in engineering colleges in or polytechnic college in and around Coimbatore, they wanted to be on their own. They didn't want to join any job. So what they did was they started a small businesses. And the small business migrated into medium and larger enterprises. So the larger enterprises again started outsourcing from small enterprises. This is where ecosystem, entrepreneurship ecosystem was well created in Coimbatore. So what happened in Coimbatore was the small industries started an association called Coimbatore District Small Scale Industries Association. In fact, they are very, very active and they provide the entrepreneurial development programs and also mentoring the program. I think that is exactly today what Coimbatore did some 20-25 years back. Today, throughout the country, the ecosystem is created. I think now people are coming forward to start the industries, and not only that, a lot of opportunities are available. The first thing, the awareness of the products, and awareness the type of industry, type of sectors where you can get into the business. I think it has become more exposed students, the students who graduate from colleges are more exposed. In fact, one interesting phenomena all of us we see in the campuses, especially management institutions and engineering colleges, because I was associated with the PhD for a quite long time.
I could see every year at least 5-6 students come with a proposal with a new products, maybe engineering, design or something. They come out with a new product and they say they want to start a company, and they look at some kind of a mentoring from me or some of the faculty members. So I think that's where the ecosystem of promoting entrepreneurship started in the engineering colleges. And not only that, they also try to network with a lot of professional bodies. I think one is the Entrepreneurship Network Forum is very active. And then second thing is all these professional associations, either the District Small Scale Industry Association, Chamber of Commerce, other associations also very active. They also try to mentor the people who come forward to start the industries. And last few years, I think all of us have seen the government of India, especially the present government, is taking a lot of initiatives to start the entrepreneurship in the younger, in a big way. I think the startup mission, every state government is starting new projects and new programs, and Kerala startup mission started, and again, they give you a lot of space and entrepreneurial parks and these kind of things started. So basically, as an entrepreneur, 20 years back, even if you have an idea, there is nobody to finance. And you have to look at the infrastructure, and you have to look at your own, managing your own problems. But today, look at the opportunities. So today, government has created a huge and excellent infrastructure for the promotion of this entrepreneurship. So government has created different schemes, the financing schemes, a lot of finance available. Not only government scheme and even venture capitals, and also a lot of new project these people has come forward. And there are a lot of small clusters are formed. For example, native entrepreneurship. So few people join together and they try to promote the entrepreneurship among their region or among a particular industry sector. So like this, a lot of activities are happening, and I'm very happy that today the students have a lot of opportunities to start up entrepreneurship. Okay, now social support. In fact, most of the
Recording in progress.
the members of the entrepreneur, they don't encourage the people, because the older generation always believe that we should not take risks in the life. So they always want the younger entrepreneurs, younger generation to take up the job. And there is a strong belief that you should have some experience to start the industry. I have seen number of cases where the student without any experience, even as a student, they have started their own business. So the first problem is it comes from your own family and society, where they don't really encourage, because they have a fear of failures. Again, every parent wants to their son to grow, and they will be very happy if the son is doing very well in the business. But when it comes to the failures, I think people are not prepared to accept the failure. I know one very successful entrepreneur. I think I can even name Mr. C.K. Kumarvel. C.K. Kumarvel is the co-founder of the Natural Salon. And he is from an entrepreneurial business family. He is a second generation entrepreneur. And he took over his father's business, his family business, but he completely failed, because he was, he is much ahead of the time, because when the natural products, when organic products were not popular, he took up organic shampoos. So, but he could not succeed, he failed. And then he took up 2 more business. All the business what he started failed. Last one we started along with his wife, it's a natural salon. Today you know the success story of natural salon. They have hundreds of franchises all over the country. I think they are targeting in thousands. So there again, he is trying to promote entrepreneurship. Again, he gives a lot of opportunities for younger people to start a franchise of his own salon in any place. So he encourages them, he gives them a lot of financial concession because he knew what is the important. So that is where the people are not prepared to face the failures, especially the parents and the society. So as an entrepreneur, he is prepared to face the failure or he is prepared to face the challenges. But people in and around are not prepared to accept the failure. So first problem of any entrepreneur is the failure, fear of failure. Not only from the individual but from the society and the peer group. I think one has to get out of this fear of failure, then only they can succeed. I think as an entrepreneur, we have to have a clear vision, mission, and determination and commitment, and should get out of the trap of failure. And again, I could see, I closely worked with some of the entrepreneurs at Canva Startup Mission. We got hundreds of small entrepreneurs, 2 or 3 graduates who passed out from the college, joined, and then they started the business. They have very good technology, they have very good idea, but unfortunately, they lack financial skills. They don't know marketing. I think very important today is any graduates you want to get into business, before you start your business, some kind of inputs you be able to get in the terms of marketing. Understand the market, understand the environment in which you operate your business. I think that is also most important. Unless you know your environment of the business, it is very difficult. So understand the industry in which you operate, understand certain basic concepts of marketing and finance, and of course HR also, because finance and marketing is very important. The success of any business depends how much you manage your finance properly. Most of the cases, the business fails because you don't handle finance properly and also the marketing. So as a young entrepreneur, when you start your business, today the ecosystem is very good. But again, you have to equip yourself in understanding these things. So I'm very happy that this program is organized to make you to understand, to expose about the sectoral opportunities, the business opportunities available in different sectors, and also it is going to give an input on basic requirements like finance, marketing, and different schemes are available. So that helps the students to make successful. As a teachers, I think it is our responsibility to develop entrepreneurship. I think as a management process, and we have to look at different options for the student. So the students come with a lot of dream. They all want to be on their own, and they want to create employment, not to seek for employment. So as the faculty members of the business schools, it is our responsibility to make the students to understand how business works and encourage them to do entrepreneurship. My own personal experience, at least every year I try to mentor at least 5 to 6, 7 young graduates from business school and help them. And almost 50% of them succeed, 50% of them fail. And from the failure experience, they learn, and again they come back to another business or another proposal and they succeed. So ultimately they succeed because there plenty of opportunities are available. And I congratulate New Horizon College and also Sheila Mishra for organizing this workshop. I hope this 1 week program will give you a lot of inputs for the faculty members and some of the students to understand the entrepreneurship. And once again, I congratulate Sheila Mishra for organizing and putting an excellent show of this program. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Our next address will be by Dr. Bhavani Mysore Ravi, Vice Chairperson, AIMS, Principal, Sarana College, Bangalore.
Wonderful, sir. Thank you so much for joining, sir. Recording stopped.
Dr. Bhavani is an experienced director with a demonstrated history of working in education management industry, skilled in coaching, lecturing, customer relationship management, instructional design, and curriculum development. Strong professional with a Master of Business Administration, focused in finance and financial management. Services from Mount Carmel College. Ma'am has an excellent presentation skill, motivates her students, is very passionate in teaching, is sharp, intelligent, and an articulate person with a keen eye for details. A very warm welcome to you, ma'am. You may now start with the session.
Thank you very much for such a wonderful introduction. At the outset, I thank Dr. Sheelan Mishra for having us here this morning. And I congratulate her for hosting the one-week national level faculty development program on nurturing entrepreneurship and startup management, which is the need of the hour, co-hosted and sponsored by Association of Indian Management Schools, which I represent this morning. I'm very happy that the team of the Karnataka Kerala chapter have been doing immense work to make sure that the B schools do fantastic and we cope up to the various challenges that are thrown out by the education space. AIMS is a professional, not-profit networking body of the Indian B schools, and with many top institutions as a part of our members, it is one of the largest networking organizations of the world. The Association of Indian Management Schools is set up for the professional development of management education and safeguarding the interests of the B schools of the country. 30 years ago, when the new education policy of 1986 was envisaged by the central government, which advocated the expansion of open university system and recognized rural university system, the Association of Indian Management Schools, which were typically headed by a few eminent business school leaders, came together and held a national conference during 28th to 30th April 1988, where it was resolved that a network of management institutions offering postgraduate courses should be constituted. Pursuant to this resolution, the Association of Indian Management Schools was registered on the 27th of August 1988 under the Karnataka Society Registration Act of 1960. An independent networking body, AIMS now boasts of many top-class institutions like the IIMs, the ISB, ASCI, Xavier institutions, Wellinger institutions, NMMIS, IGFI, SP Jain, and many more management departments of Indian universities as its members. It is also representative of the Indian management schools in India as well as in some international forums. It is one of the largest networking bodies of the B schools in the world. And coming to the mission of Association of Indian Management Schools, the networking body is here to ensure that the quality of management education in India is kept up to its best. Faculty training and development, management research, curriculum development to help maintain standards of teaching, research, and examination. The body also helps in the accreditation and has been focusing on entrepreneurship. I'm sure the faculty members who have come from different institutions this morning will be able to take this message back to your institutions, and we invite you to be our members and also be active in hosting events which will definitely make sure that our B schools are going to be the best in the world. I will take the next 2 minutes to talk about the theme today, that is nurturing entrepreneurship and startup management. As a professor in management over the last 24 years, this is something that we have constantly been telling our students. Stop seeking employment, start becoming entrepreneurs. There are a few naughty students of mine who have come and asked me, "Good, we heard a lot from you. Why didn't you become one?" Well, I always tell them a nice answer that all were not meant to be players, some were meant to be coaches. So I am of the coach category. That's all as a faculty that I could tell them at that point in time. We believe that the youngsters today have a lot of potential than what we were when we were young. And I also tell my own students that I wish I was half as intelligent as all of you when we were young, just half. We would have been much better today. The kind of exposure that all of you have been getting in wonderful institutions like this is something that should put you on a pedestal immediately. We had to wait for some opportunities to come. Today it is not so. You can create an opportunity for yourself. I will take the next 2 minutes to just wrap up a thought on entrepreneurship. A lot of stalwarts are here this morning and throughout the week to tell you more about it. I'm very small in front of them. But as a teacher of entrepreneurship in management school, I just want to tell you something that normally a B school does not teach us. And that is the art of listening. Most of us love speaking because every B school also trains you for that first. Do you communicate well? Do you speak good English? Are you able to negotiate well? Are you able to make sure that you're putting your points across to your neighbor? This is all we generally focus on. And throughout these semesters, that's what I have been seeing. And whenever we have a forum of teachers who talk about what can help our children do better, the first thing is communication. Even the industry say the same thing. But very few of us talk about listening. My colleague here were talking about one of the behavioral skills called the conceptual skills. And this is again something that we haven't probably focused a lot in our B schools, and that's why the National Education Policy has come up again. How many of us in this auditorium are able to put to practice what is learnt in the classroom? How many of us are able to understand the ambiguous news that keeps coming in front of you? How many of us are able to understand what is it for me when I see a news like this? For example, my colleague this morning was saying that LIC, when the first public offering was made, there was high expectations. Today it has fallen down to 177 per share, which is quite devastating to all those who had big dreams when they invested in LIC. The art of hearing is something which I believe, the art of listening is something that is extremely critical even for entrepreneurship. I have just 2 examples before I end this. The first example is that of Adidas, which I believe all of us are fans of. A German gentleman who believed that he can just cobble a few shoes just to make sure that he kept the athletics or the athlete's feet good enough when they play. A fellow who started with nothing, no background, believed that he can create some kind of a solution to players. And even to this day, this focus of Adidas has not been shifted. Throughout the world, Adidas is known for making shoes for different categories of sports, meant for athletes. Now, if you look at the success story of Adidas, one thing that is very prominent is that every time he came out with something, the first thing he did was to listen to the dreams, the pains, and the points where they needed some solution. And I'm sure as entrepreneurs, budding entrepreneurs, that's exactly what you will be doing. First thing is to listen, define who your audience is going to be, and be so focused that you don't want to think about anything else. We have seen a lot of stories like this where people have probably not focused well and probably lost out in the field. The second example that we talk about, that's my famous case study in the class, what Titanic talks to you in terms of entrepreneurial lessons. We can draw lessons from everywhere. And I love this Titanic story. I'm sure all of us have watched, especially in the 3D, it was made so well. It was such a big success. The movie brought in accolades to everybody, right from the actor to the producer to the director, made millions of dollars for them. But unfortunately, we were talking about a few hundreds of lives which were lost at that point in time. Something that we talk about Titanic in an entrepreneurial aspect is again a part of listening. We have seen the story in one side, but the real side is that though the warning signs kept coming up that there is an iceberg, and mind you friends, we always said it's a tip of the iceberg. That means there is something much below which is stronger, which is unseen by us. It's only a tip that we see. There were several warnings that kept telling that we are headed in the wrong direction, or we are headed towards a place where there could be some destruction. But the focus of the people who led the Titanic was the speed, because they wanted to prove to the world that they built a beautiful ship that could carry on so many passengers and reach the destination in the fastest possible note. Now this focus or love for the product, love for this, or the over enthusiasm has also led to downfall. So warning signals were typically not listened to, they were ignored. The final story is in front of all of us. So my dear young minds, today I'm sure your generation is extremely, I must say, lucky. You don't have to really work towards a car, you don't have to work towards your house, you don't have to work towards bank balances, your parents have done it all. It is time for you to live your passion. Don't go by the herd mentality. It's very important for you, whether you take up entrepreneurship role now, work for 5 years and then come back again, the choice is all out there. But then, live the life you want to live. Don't go by something that somebody else tells you. I'm sure this faculty development program will also build the breadth and the depth that the faculties require to make sure that our students are going to be more into entrepreneurship and definitely give a big hand towards the Atmanirbhar Bharat that all of us are awaiting to see. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Our next address is by Dr. Manohar C., Regional President, Indo-American Chamber of Commerce, South India, Chairman, Vision Group, Senior Director, ISBR, Bangalore. Dr. Manohar is the Senior Director at ISBR Business School and Chairman, Association of Indian Management Schools, Karnataka, Kerala Chapter. Co-founder and Director of Parent Off with a vision to simplify parenting using real-time cognitive technologies. Sir is also the Executive Vice President at iNurture Education's Solution Private Limited. Sir has international qualifications on Organization Management, Colorado, Quality Systems Assessment, UK, Trade Management, WTO issues. Traveled over 60 countries on scholastic missions, speaking assignments and trade delegations. A lover of adventure sports, participated in 8 national Himalayan trekking expeditions, TV and radio host too. A very, very warm welcome to you, sir. The stage is now open for you.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon to all of you. I was missing Dr. Roni in the audience, at least I can see him here along with my name over here. Well, friends, Dr. Sheelan, the host, my friend and all the audience that is here, I'm wearing many hats. That's what I should do if I have to cover my infirmities of, hairstyle. These hats will help us. One hat as a teacher, another hat as a representative of the AIMS, as a past chairman of the AIMS chapter and a past EC member. And currently, also as the regional president of the Indo-American Chamber of Commerce for South India, perhaps an organization that was started way back 54 years ago. First time ever, or at least after a very, very long time, they have an educationist and evangelist to become the president of an industry body I think that's what makes me feel proud about it. And it doesn't come easy, but it comes with lot of support from both academia and industry. I do have my mentor sitting before me here, Dr. Jacob Krasta, who perhaps will tell you more stories about how an academician can become an entrepreneur, how a person born in a village with nothing around as an ecosystem and then can become a big story, whom I call, when somebody was going using bullock cart to go to the school, that too couple of villages after, can own a couple of BMW. A story of bullock cart to BMW is what I tagline, and you're going to listen to him soon. Well, friends, today we signed an MOU with the New Horizon College. What is that MOU all about? I just would like to take 2 minutes to tell you what is the purpose, what is the intent, and how we are going to do this MOU. Most of the MOUs are signed and they are filed neatly, beautiful file stationery, and then kept back. And after a couple of years, then we open up, see, oh, we had signed one such MOU. It happens to most of our research papers as well. The thesis that we write gets into the shelves, and the research papers, we read it, we read the title, and then after some time, we also forget what we have written. Now, this is what we thought we should make it something practical, implementable. Well, as I came from both from the education as well as from the industry background, when I became the president and I could talk to my council members and the members at large, that let's do something new. Because today the new education policy has come to existence. Then we have one side the industry is complaining that the students who are passing out, we are not able to employ them fully. At the same time, the academic institutions complaining against the industry, where are you giving us the opportunity to learn from your experience? You take our faculty, you don't take our students. So in the guise of students get some little opportunity. In fact, if you go to the tier 2, tier 3 institutions, you will find that even those opportunities are not there. Then we thought, let us do something that will be bridging the gap between the industry and academia, where we come up with a plan that let us, back here in the industry, we need lot of inputs that has to come from the academia and the research institutions. Not every industry, not every company has the bandwidth to do a research, a study before they strategize their businesses. Most of the times it happens by hunch or by the wisdom and the knowledge of the promoters and the founders and the directors, the CEOs, or the entrepreneurs or the intrapreneurs, what we have learned today. Well, friends, so if that's so, on the other side in the academia also, we teach, we go to a classroom and we teach industrial marketing, ask the faculty background, have you worked any time for an industry and marketed their products? No, sir, I have 10 books from which I have learned. It's like reading 10 books on swimming, jumping into the water and trying to survive yourself. So there was a question, I think I must thank Professor Bhavani for bringing that context that students, they are naughty, they are realistic. They are very, very interested students. They are asking, if you are asking us, you are our role models, what is it you are telling us? So it's a right question. So I have an opportunity here. Let me first finish with the content of the MOU. What we are proposing is to facilitate industry, academia supported research and studies, number one. Two, to facilitate internships in industry, not just for students, but also for the faculty. And third, collaborative research with professors and universities in India and abroad. In fact, looking at the scope of this work, we got requests from South Asia, although it's an Indian entity, we have got, so we extended the scope to South Asia. And on the other hand, it was America though, then North America we covered, including Canada and part of Mexico. So this is the kind of a network that we have been able to build, and this opportunity is before you all. Now, this being a faculty development program, let me address the faculty, the challenges we are facing, and I take me as one of you sitting here. The challenge that we have, of course, we have so many things to do, and today we are asking that help your students to become entrepreneurs. And I have my 20 hours of teaching in a week, and I have a lot of administrative work loaded onto us, be it NBA or NAC, and I have to conduct a lot of seminars and webinars, and I have to also help the in marketing, some of the colleges, we also become part of the marketing team. Go seek admissions and make sure that our institution is run viably. So when we are playing all these things, and then back home, particularly my students, my teacher community, the women teachers, going back home, we have a lot of problems. Again, work-life balance. Now, with all these things, and you ask her to, number one, do research, publish it on top of it, and also consult, and then now you also ask us to make our students entrepreneurs. Really a big challenge. So in the FDP, I think what we are going to learn is to teach our students, help our students to become entrepreneurs, but here is a way to become ourselves entrepreneurs. Well, friends, having studied certain models that have happened in the United States and Europe, and also in Japan, we have come up with one scheme. It's going to be implemented shortly. If a faculty wants to become an investor or owner or a shareholder in a fund that is going to help the student entrepreneurs, there is an opportunity. So we are creating a fund where faculty will invest into this fund, and then that faculty can bring a student entrepreneur and support, encourage that I want this student to be helped, maybe for bootstrapping or whatever the initial funding can do. That can be done only if the faculty has a stake in that fund. So we take that forward, and you will find this has been tried out very effectively, successfully in these countries. We thought, let us also experiment over this. This is an opportunity and an invitation to our faculty to become stakeholders in this kind of an initiative and do that. Two, we have to be entrepreneurs as well. See, where you can become an entrepreneur along with your students, be a mentor, be a coach is all fine. That you be also a stakeholder in those businesses, be it small or medium, doesn't matter. See what you can come in. One, as a mentor, certainly we will do it. Second, as a coach, can we also put in some of our resources into that. I think that way our students will feel more comfortable and confident about our being mentors to these people. So from my personal experiences too, I can tell you, there have been not all the successful startups, but at least we have seen the journey of an entrepreneur, journey of a startup enterprise, which are the pain points, which are the comfortable zones. So with this kind of a thing, we have come out with these kind of initiations, and we are doing. This Indo-American Chamber of Commerce collaboration agreement, what we have signed today, there is a lot to do with the institution and more to do with the individuals here. Those of you who want to do, come with your ideas of your research, consulting, whatever that you can do. You become the resource persons, and then let us be partners in progress of bringing this industry academia collaboration. What is in it for the institution? Because we have collaborated with the industry body, you get better score in NBA score or NAC score. At the same time, as an industry body, we get a lot of support from you, from the academic and the studies, because we don't have the bandwidth in the industry bodies to get into that in-depth study of whatever the problems. Industry will come forward with the topics on which we need studies. Industry will provide you the subject matter experts and the mentors to support those kind of studies. Well, friends, thank you very, very much. It's an amazing opportunity what the New Horizon Institution has created for all of us. Thank you for the organizing committee. Thank you, Dr. Sheelan. You have been the force behind this whole initiative. Congratulations to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Our last address of the day will be by Mr. Jacob Kruster, Member National Executive Council, IACC, Founder and Chairman, CM Enviro Systems Private Limited, Chairman L Square Eco Products Private Limited. Mr. Jacob is the Chairman, CEO of CM Enviro Systems Private Limited, manufacturers of climatic chambers, hot and cold chambers, thermal shock chambers, corrosion test chambers, etc. Former President, Co-Chairman, ASSO CHAM, Southern Council, National Executive Members, FICCI, New Delhi. A very warm welcome to you, sir. You may now address the gathering.
Good afternoon to all of you.
Good afternoon.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sheelan and Dr. Manohar, a good friend of mine, who has invited me here on behalf of Indo-American Chamber of Commerce because I'm an EC member as well as an entrepreneur. Since this is a workshop on nurturing entrepreneurship and startup management, I was amazed to learn that this New Horizon College has about 132 startups are within these premises. Nice. Because in Bangalore city alone, there are highest startups. Now it is shifted to Delhi. Probably it is because of traffic here in Bangalore. It has been given an anti-publicity by Andhra Pradesh, Telangana and Tamil Nadu that Bangalore don't go because there's a traffic problem. That has probably shifted that highest startups from Bangalore to Delhi. Well, that may not remain there for long. Traffic problem is not permanent. It is going to go. Definitely Basavaraj Bommai is working. Modi also is working, keeping an eye on Karnataka. Traffic has to improve because after 1 year election is going to come. Definitely he has to get the vote. Well, that's the future. But the present, what is that for you? You as an entrepreneur. Now today, Dr. Manor has given the genesis of the MOU signed between Indo-American Chamber of Commerce and New Horizon. Indo-American Chamber, why? Because do you know that in America, the economy is $23 trillion economy, whereas India is just hovering around $3.2 trillion economy. 7 times more in America, in the entire globe. Highest economical country, highest GDP. GDP is of course here in India is improving at the rate of say 8.5% of GDP, because America may be growth may be 1.4%, but 1.4% of $23 trillion economy. So if the America can lead with 32 crores of people, whereas we have 135 crores of people. If this is the economical scale which is happening in America, why not India? And India is really forward-going economy, which has been happening. $3.2 trillion economy is going to become 2025 $5 trillion economy. But the history is to cross $1 trillion economy, we have taken 40 years after independence. And to cross $2 trillion economy, we have taken another 20 years. And now we are at the $3.2 trillion economy after 75 years of independence. But we are definitely going to go at the 100th year of independence, that is by 2047, is going to be $45 trillion economy. That means you all students, when you get your age of say 45, 50, you are going to have this $45 trillion economy. How? It is only the startups. It is only the entrepreneurship. It is not the jobs. Dr. Bhavani has already been informed to you that it is only that you have to think in terms of entrepreneurship. And when you have the entrepreneurship also, you can practice it with the intrapreneurship also, is been told by Wipro person. That has been happening in the multinational companies. But what about MSMEs? MSME is contributing to the economy, say 48% of employment, 38% of exports, 30% of GDP comes from MSME. With such a being vibrant economical situation what we have here in India, I am belonging to the fraternity of MSME. See my fate. I am the last speaker. It is also been a government mind. Every policies are drawn, only remains on the paper, doesn't come down. That is again another apathy. Probably today also I will be called as a last speaker. maybe I don't know whether your mind works on MSME or not, but still, let me concentrate on you that your mind works for entrepreneurship. Because that's the only way forward. So-called the campus interview, what is taking place where the scoring high marks and the facing the interview very well may get a manager post in any multinational company. He remains as a manager. Whereas the below the 60% or 70% students who are preparing a very nice CV, put it in the Google and Google search will go. What about those people, those who are around 40%, 50%? These are the people going to start an entrepreneur or entrepreneurship. These are the people who are going to employ you. That is going to happen. So please, faculty members, don't call them their dull students. These are the students who are below 40%, 50% are becoming the entrepreneur. Most of the entrepreneurs, 80 to 85% in the world are below SLC, 8th standard passed, or even just a graduates. Not so-called that rank holders, no. So this is the opportunity now. If the India is heading towards the $45 trillion economy, it can be possible only you as an intelligent people, where the facilities is provided here in the horizon. Incubation. If you have an idea, get in the incubator, and the facility is not available here at the incubator, there are incubators available all over in India. There are highest R&D centers here in Bangalore. Just hook on to the Google and check up. Or even if you are not getting the idea implementable for an entrepreneurship, just Google it. You get every information in your YouTube. What you learn in the classroom is only 20%. 80% is from outside. How do you learn this 80% from outside? Because out of 365 days in your academic year, I think you are in the college only for 150 to 200 days. That means another 100, 150 days you are outside. You have 52 Sundays, say have 80 holidays. So what do you do during this period? Identify your passion. Get into a system called how to enterprise it. Now, since the incubators are available, if you have an idea, go to the incubator, develop the product, and put it in the market and check before you get into the enterprise. After checking, certifying, and qualifying the product, yes, customer likes it. It's not only liking of the customer, he gets delighted about your product, then definitely go forward. Don't think about the risk. If you don't take the risk, you will become an entrepreneur. And that is what I have done. As rightly stated by Dr. Manohar, from the field, from the rice field, well, we are making environmental simulation products. That is, we create a temperature, say from minus 80 to 250 degrees Celsius, with 5% to 98% of humidity, with 150,000 feet above the sea level, with x-axis, l-axis, y-axis shaking. That means if the missile goes up, turns like this, how do you check whether missiles, all the parts and components are functioning at that atmosphere? So we create that atmosphere inside the chamber to test your product, how does it function for various temperature, humidity and altitude. How I got this idea? Because I had a post-graduation in organic chemistry, we were using laboratory equipment. So I was passionate about the laboratory equipment. So I went to Bombay because I started my career as a lecturer, as rightly stated by Dr. Manohar. I was a lecturer for 2 years. But I did not continue. You know why? Sorry if the faculty members are here. Because the lecturer in chemistry, 2 hours lecture, 4 hours practical. Then what do you do next? I never wanted to spend time on Brigade Road and MG Road or in the pubs because I wanted to build up the career. So I went and searched a company manufacturing laboratory equipment, joined there as a marketing. So marketing, I used to do about 30 to 35 clients per day. So boss was very happy. So if this is the way of functioning, you go to Bangalore back and look after the South India business. So I look after the South India business. So that business was higher than the Bombay business. So he started a manufacturing unit here in Bangalore. This is how I started a manufacturing unit in Bangalore with a collaboration with my boss. So laboratory equipments did not then qualify because Nasim Rao and Manmohan Singh opened up the economy in 1991. So this is how laboratory equipment is exposed for global competition. Then what should be done? The idea came in 1997 when there was a Kargil war. What happened in Kargil war? We lost so many soldiers in the front end. Why? Because the telecommunication equipment did not function. T-80 tanker did not fire. Because to test all these equipments, all these imported goods, we could not get the imported goods because Vajpayee blasted atom bomb in Pokhran. So the sanctions were imposed. We did not get the testing equipment from the foreign country. Whereas Pakistan, Musharraf was done all the testing and he was bombarding from the top and we lost so many soldiers. One soldier rolled down and came down, communicated to the head office, then Air Force came, Kargil war stopped. Otherwise Musharraf wanted to have breakfast in Delhi and dinner in Kanyakumari. This was an idea for me. This idea came in 1997. Today we talk about startups. So my startup was in 1997. So then I said, okay, fine. We have to manufacture with the technology. Where is the availability of technology? Then, the youngsters always have an innovative idea. So my son passed out from the engineering. I asked him, do you want to do a post-graduation? He said, what should I do after post-graduation? Then I said, maybe you ought to come and join my industry. Then he asked me back stating that, why should I do post-graduation? Fine, come and join. So I gave him the SWOT analysis. Strength, weakness, opportunity, threat. This is what is required in our country. There's a big scope, big future. So we did a lot of research, even to the extent of one imported chamber from Indian Institute of Science. We got to the factory, completely disassembled it, learned the technology and completely indigenized. And we are creating such kind of atmosphere, as I rightly told you, Agni, Prithvi, Akash, Brahmos, these missiles are tested in the chamber which we have supplied. This kind of climatic chambers, Tarangla Wipro is here. There are more than I think about 1,500 chambers in the Tarang lab in Wipro. 80% of the chambers supplied by us. It is only because of the quality. It's only because of the reliability. It's only because of the sustainability of the chamber. Because these chambers has to be tested continuously for 365 days, 24/7. Even if it is stopped by any means for 5 minutes, they have to repeat the test. That is a qualification for aerospace and defense. Do you know that if you supply any product for aerospace with a tolerance of plus or minus 0.0001, one flight should fall down in the entire globe? That kind of accuracy product has to be supplied for defense and aerospace. And that is what we have to do it and manufacture it. And that is applicable in every industry. Either to why we have taken 40 years for crossing that $1 trillion economy is chalta hai. Arey, the Indian product. That has spoiled the whole market globally. It is like, if you remember in China, those years, about 20-35 years, on China pen, right? The China pen was very good, but all other China product was bad, including the battery or whatever it is. But today, the quality and the reliability is very good, even if it is a China product. But earlier we used to say in MSME, any machinery you get from China, it is not working, but not today. So that means globally, people look at India. We are economically going forward. So this is the place now, what you have. Use your idea, use your passion into getting into entrepreneurship. And that's the only way to move forward. And thank you very much for having called me here, Dr. Celine and Dr. Manohar, for having invited me here to talk about entrepreneurship and become an entrepreneur and go forward. Now I would like to ask here, how many students who are here want to start an enterprise? Please raise your hand.
Most of them are faculty members.
No, there are some students here. Yeah, at the last bench. I compliment you because people, those who are sitting in the front bench, are only become the managers of the industry. Those who are sitting at the lunch bench are going to become the entrepreneurs of the country. Congratulations to you and thank you very much.
Dr. Krasta, while you are still on the mic, I just want to make one request on behalf of all the faculty over here. There was a hackathon last week. It was done in one of the resorts near Bangalore, near Doddaballapur, where engineering students were given an opportunity to work on a real-time solutions and problems of an industry. Normally, the industries don't welcome external, particularly the students, and all to sit with their own executives to solve their problem. But this happened. There are companies today who are benevolent and they would like to offer such facility where these students go sit in their teams and then work, come out with great ideas. Very successful. In fact, Dr. Krasta was a witness to this experimentation. We would request you and people like you, if you create these opportunities for our faculty as well and the students, I think that's where we can close the gap that is there, particularly on the learning side, the innovation side. A lot more learning can happen from this. I would appeal probably you and people like you should come forward, let's work together.
Yeah, I don't know, Dr. What Manohar said. That hackathon I personally witnessed how the students from the different colleges joined together. Please learn this, underline this, join together. About 6 to 7 students in one table, day and night, 24/7, they work on apps, be it mobile apps, be it medical services apps, be it educational apps, whatever it is, they innovate and they learn 24/7, and only after the completion, of course, there are mentors who are guiding them, all that is there, and after 7 days, they create an app, test and put it to the market, or somebody will come and buy the app, they make money out of that. So what I'm trying to say is startups. You already have it here. If you have 132 startups within this campus, what about the balance students? You must have about more than 2,000, 2,500 students. Correct? How many students are total?
10,000 plus.
See. 10,000 students plus and only 132 startups. No.
Add 1 0.
Add 1 0, yes. So 0 has a value. So my dear students, think differently. That's what I was telling you, only what you learn within your 4 walls of the classroom is only 20%. 80% is outside. How? You have a mobile, you have a YouTube, you have a Google. Anything and everything, Google it. Be passionate, get into it, but not seeking employment. Definitely not. If the 132 startups are now, maybe another 1 year it can have another 0 added. Let there be 1,320. Maybe next year, maybe 10,000. So we have 135 crores of people. Thanks to our parents. They have produced more children. The driver age is average 80 to 85 years. They've forgotten to make the children. So, globe is very big. India is shining. Get into the race of entrepreneurship, and that's the only future, not employment. This is a message for you, my dear student. Get into it. And I like that last bench of students. Please get into it. If you face any problem on sustainability of your entrepreneurship, contact FKCCI. or any trade association or even the American Chamber of Commerce for marketing a product to a $23 trillion economy. We are there. We are always with you. I like the entrepreneurs. Get into the wisdom. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for those motivational words. As we now come to the end of this wonderful program, it is our duty to be thankful to what we have received. Hence, I would now like to call upon Dr. Dhanalakshmi R.V., Associate Professor, Department of Management Studies in HCE, to deliver the vote of thanks. Over to you, ma'am. Thank you. Before I start, we would like to and welcome Dr. Nandesh V. Herman, Professor, Indus Business Academy and Faculty Mentor, ELIC and Faculty Ambassador, NISP, who has joined us. I request our HOD ma'am, Dr. Sheelan Mishra, to hand over the welcome book as a token of our love and appreciation. Welcome, sir. The word thanks is not just a word, but a synonym of appreciation and recognition. Because appreciation brings in more efforts, and efforts bring in more achievements. With this, I, Dr. Dhanalakshmi, co-convener of this faculty development program, take pleasure in proposing vote of thanks. Above all, I thank Almighty God for His blessings for making this wonderful event happen. I would like to thank our respected Chairman Sir, Dr. Mohan Mangnani Sir, Chairman, New Horizon Educational Institutions. New being a pioneer in all its endeavors, it's only because of Sir's visionary leadership and commitment to excellence. Though Sir do not join us, his blessings are there in all our efforts. Thank you, Sir. Engineering, for Sir's continuous support and guidance. Thank you so much, Sir. A special thanks to Dr. Bodhisatwan Sir, Principal, New Horizon College, Maratali. Whenever we are with new things, Sir joins us to support. Thank you so much, Sir, for joining. My sincere thanks to my HOD, Dr. Sheelan Mishra, Professor and Head, Department of Management Studies, New Horizon College of Engineering. This idea of FDP got conceived, took a shape, and finally we are here today on its execution. It's because of the passion which Sheelan ma'am has towards entrepreneurship and also towards the students. Thank you so much, ma'am, for making this happen. Now it's time to felicitate the speakers of the day who have come from various places in spite of their hectic schedule, for which I would like to call Dr. Sheelan ma'am. First, I would like to call Dr. Anil Sir, Dr. Anil Rao Paila, Immediate Past President, AIMS, Senior Dean and Director, B School, Bangalore. Sir, I would like to request you to come to the dais and appreciate a memento as a token of our love and affection. Please, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for joining. I would like to request Dr. Jacob Preston, Guest of Honor of the Day, Member, National Executive Council, IACC Founder and Chairman L Square Eco Products Private Limited. Sir, please. Thank you, sir. I would also like to extend our thanks and gratitude to Dr. R. Nandagopal, Regional VP South Ames, who has joined us online. Thank you so much, sir. Now I would like to request Dr. Bhavani Mysore Ravi, Vice Chairman Ames and Principal Rana College, Bangalore. Ma'am, a warm welcome to appreciate for your time and efforts today with us. Thank you so much for joining us. Also, I would like to request Dr. Mohan Sir, Global Practice Head, Wipro Limited, who had given us great inputs on entrepreneurship. Sir, please. I would like to welcome Dr. Manohar C, Chairman Mission Group and Senior Director, ISDR Bangalore. So thank you so much for joining us today. A very big clap to the speakers of the day who are all here. It is because of whom we had a great input on entrepreneurship. Thank you all for joining us. A very big clap to them, please, students. A special thanks to branding department for their tireless work and efforts who always support us in branding us. Also, we thank the systems department of New Horizon College of Engineering for their technical assistance. Thank you so much. My heartfelt thanks to faculty and students who have come here from New Horizon College Kasturi Nagar and New Horizon College Marathalli, who had been keen on understanding entrepreneurship and who have come all over here to listen to the speakers. Thank you all for joining us. My heartfelt thanks to the external participants who have joined us from various states of the country and who have been listening us through YouTube Live. Thank you so much for joining us. A very big thanks to deans, HODs and faculties of various departments who graced the occasion with their valuable time. And my biggest thanks to faculty members of Department of Management Studies who have been working for a long time and students of first year and second year MBA. Thank you all.
Somewhere back.